All right, well, here we are, the third edition of Between Two Skulls. And I'm here with a very good friend of mine, James Connell, a.k.a. James Chandler Connell.
James Chandler,
Cannell.
You know,
Gotcha.
I'm
Cannell.
not a three-name guy though. I'm just James.
Right,
Yeah.
that's good. And James, you run Sol Vista Violins here in
Yep.
Lafayette, Colorado.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Have you ever had any problems with the transition with three names on Facebook? Like a lot of women who've been married multiple times?
Well, I keep my name is James Chandler on Facebook, so
Mhm.
certain people can't find me. Yeah, makes it a little easier.
That's perfect. Good enough for me. All right, James, I'm going to start off with a couple questions. I thought we started off about talking about the good old days. Of course, we're talking about the 80s,
Yes.
being heavy metal guitarist. My wife gave me this picture, and she's convinced that we had the same hair technique, hairstylist on the bus. And I just want to share this picture with you.
Yeah, let's take
All
a look. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's pretty stunning too.
Similar style. Yeah. Similar pose.
Yeah, it's very similar. Obviously, we were influenced by the same beers at that point in time in our lives, right? And this was when you were in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Diana will be sharing that photo in the video digitally, and so everybody can see that. But yeah, so what was your technique back then to get such a delicate hairdo?
Let's see. I guess the best way to describe it is just do nothing. Get in the shower, wash it, and then get it all crazy with my hands, and then just leave the house like that. I didn't use any gels or creams or anything.
Do you miss that? The tension that you could give your hair?
No, but what I do miss is when you're playing the guitar, there's something of cool feeling when it hangs in your face. I don't have that anymore.
Right. Well,
There's
see,
nothing to hang.
that's what I'm doing. I'm striving because I'm just not getting it from the nose up.
Yeah.
That feeling. It's happening down here.
Yeah.
Like it would if I
Similar
had hair.
vibe.
Yes, exactly. It still gets caught in your guitar strap just the same. Carrying on with this 80s theme, what about wardrobe? What were your favorites? Did you enjoy the coolness that spandex offered?
No.
No?
No spandex. I was jeans, t-shirt, you know. Well, you lived in Phoenix too, didn't you? Yeah. So the thrash scene was big then. But I did have one pair of pants that were a little stretchy with frills on the side. And and then I had one of those shirts that had flowers all over them. I cruised that for a little bit, and then I realized it's not working for me. But the pants I found in a box not that long ago, actually, and they don't fit or any, I wouldn't want them.
What was the waist size?
Like probably 30.
Oh my God.
Something like that. And then they had black frills down the side, and I think my bandmates probably gave me some crap for wearing that. But no leather pants, didn't own that.
Did you
Mostly jeans.
Did you catch more crap from your bandmates than you did your fans?
Yeah.
For sure, huh?
Yeah.
Bandmates are generally just douchebags at times, huh?
Yeah, that's their job. One time we took a band photo, and then we cropped out the singer's head, and I took it. This is when Kinko's was a big deal, and the bass player and I had a few drinks.
Kinko's and rub-off letters.
Yeah.
Letter set.
Yeah. we took it and had it manipulated so his head looked just a little bigger than the rest of ours.
No.
And we made flyers and we put them all over town, and he was pissed. Yeah, because you can't go recollect them. They were everywhere.
Was his name Todd by chance?
No, it was Brian Rossi,
okay.
Great singer.
Okay.
And he didn't find it amusing. But it was just a little bit bigger, so it looked like something was wrong with our singer.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And did you have to have like a disclaimer in the next flyer that you put out there? This is
we manipulated this
singer's head,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Right.
Just because of his ego. We just wanted to make it a little bigger. Yeah.
All right, man. Going back to the good old 80s, what are your thoughts on guy liner?
On what?
Guy liner. That's when guys put makeup under their eyes.
I didn't do that. I didn't see. Phoenix was a different scene.
Yeah.
Totally. So we would have glam bands come from Los Angeles, but as far as any glam bands coming out of Phoenix, none that I know of, except for Rough. What are they called?
Rough Cut?
No.
Out of Phoenix?
Yeah. They moved to LA and became pretty big.
Yeah, gosh, who was that band? I seen them on YouTube recently on one of the news stations. They were in as a musical guest. Channel 9 News out of Phoenix. K.
Yeah, they had left Phoenix to go to LA, so we didn't have a whole lot of glam stuff going on. I can't even remember.
And what year was that for you?
From 85 to 93.
Yeah, so you got there much earlier than I did. I kind of squeaked in right before the grunge scene.
Yeah.
Really kind of crushed what we were doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to put all my spandex back in the closet, dude. I was tragically bummed.
I remember the day that it all happened. We showed up to a show, and there was a band there that was just a bunch of kids that probably shouldn't have been on stage at that point. But that's when it all changed, and then all the bands, we stopped getting paid. Nobody was interested in hiring bands for money anymore.
Well, you couldn't get any money out of...
and then they started switching from 2 bands a night, and then it became 5.
Right.
Bands.
Mason jar.
The Mason jar.
Yeah, Mason jar, the lead, or the... Franco and the sound man would never show up. So you'd have 5 bands standing around.
Yes.
Not knowing who's going on in what order.
Yeah.
Nobody was ever guaranteed anything.
No.
Other than a shitty old warm beer and
a bunch
you had
of
to pay for
cocaine
that.
Dust all over the back.
Yeah, those right, and you didn't want to take those chances back then either. You know, that's for sure. It's funny that we've had the
our times crossed over.
Yeah, we kind of overlap a little bit. And you're originally from the East Coast as well, too, right?
No.
No?
No, I was born in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And then moved to Seattle. Mm-hmm. And then I left the Seattle area to play music in Phoenix.
I got you. And your family, your mother was over in the East Coast.
My parents are from the East Coast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Right on. So, yeah, I've never been a guy liner. I never wore makeup, but I have worn spandex. There's some pictures of me out there on the internet. Spandex. I got some spandex stories I can actually tell online sometime when it's
I don't think spandex looked good on anybody.
No.
Not even the chicks that would roll into the club with it. It wasn't for me.
But it was very comfortable and liberating.
Yeah.
I'll say that. All right. Besides style, what was the best thing about being an 80s rocker guitarist?
Just the fact that people would show up. It could be a Tuesday night in Phoenix, and you're playing 9:30, 10 o'clock, whenever you went on, and the place would be packed. Mm-hmm. Every night of the week.
Yeah. And
sometimes we would be booked from like Wednesday through Sunday, so you could just leave your gear there. And I loved that, the long stretches, and people were always just having a good time. There's always after-hours parties. Yeah. Nowadays, Friday night, you're lucky to get, a third of the club filled.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of what we have today, I mean, there's certainly a lot more law enforcement regards to, people out partying. I remember back in the days, people getting pulled over for drunken driving, and the cops would escort them home, and things were a lot different back at that time, which not necessarily good to say that, because a lot of people do get hurt by drunken drivers. But it was a different time. I think people didn't have to worry about so much. They didn't have the mask BS on top of everything else, so, it
a little more freedoms.
Yeah, and plus people like to wear spandex. That everybody got together with their spandex, and they all felt comfortably stupid together.
And the giant hair.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool look for the girls.
Yeah. I had a routine for my hair.
What was your
back
routine?
In the day? Well, I'd get out of the shower, and I'd just take a towel, and I'd go, and then I'd kind of bend over upside down, and I'd take a blow dryer, and I'd blow dry it so it was straight up like that, and then I'd give about half a can of Aquanet, and then I'd let it stand up as straight as I can, and then it just slowly fell over. By the time I got to the show, I was no longer vertical.
Yeah.
I was more...
Start as Wayne Static and end up wherever you ended up.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty either, but...
I still have a hairdryer for... I don't even know why. There's no use for it anymore, but back then the hairdryers were very handy.
Do you keep it for...
nostalgic purposes? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I still, like, when I'm in a hotel, and I get a chance to bust out the hairdryer on my beard, I do. And I'll sit there and go from underneath the backside, and I'll have that thing looking like, Billy Gibbons before you know it.
You're giving Paul Speckman a run for his money with your beard.
Oh, really?
From Manster, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We're working on it.
He has the biggest beard in metal.
Yeah, well, I'm not even close. There's a couple guys, even in town. Don DeMasi, that guy's beard is... I don't think he's ever cut his beard as long as I know, and I'm just finally getting it back in. I'm coming into winter growth, especially after the last couple days. I'm kind of feeling like it's time to go full Armageddon beard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we got that. Let's go down to which instrument is more detrimental to family welfare? Violin or drums?
Violin.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because things break. Drums, you can hit them as hard as you want, and nothing's going to happen to them. Violin, the slightest little thing goes wrong, and you're out $50.
Do you think that I guess I'm more talking about the noise.
Oh.
Of let's say
also
of a rookie violin player.
Yeah. That's the worst sound there is. Yeah. Yeah, the E string on a violin is about the worst thing you could ever imagine happening in your house.
The E?
Yeah, my kid plays drums.
Yeah.
So when she can play as long and as loud as she wants, and it doesn't bother me, but once they start playing violin, that's going to be another matter. But the same daughter, I said, it's time to start thinking about what you want to play as an instrument. Mm-hmm. She said, for orchestra, for school. Mm-hmm. And she said, I think I'm going to play flute. I'm like, no, Daddy doesn't own a flute shop. Yeah, you can be playing, one of the stringed instruments for sure.
That might change though. You could be swayed by the cute little smile.
Yes.
And her desire to play the flute.
That's right.
And then next thing you know, it's Sol Vista
whatever she says.
Violin.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. That's how it works. Works with the little girls. And one last question for you, James. Salma Hayek or Jennifer Connelly?
Oh, Salma Hayek, 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm still, I don't know.
Oh, that's a slam dunk for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought she was attractive. Dusk Till Dawn, the dance.
Oh my God.
The snake.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was very good.
Nothing's better.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one for me. I don't know, especially because the wife's standing right here in front of me.
I choose Salma Hayek.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, then we got 2 for Salma. My vote doesn't matter. Girls, do you have a vote? All right. For some real information, James is a very smart guy. He's very talented. One of my favorite albums that I have in my collection is Deathbed Confession with another friend of mine. Singing, and James is an amazing guitar player, but he's a very, very, very educated technician when it comes to violins, and he developed this system for picking up. It's basically a piezo pickup for.
It's a preamp.
Preamp.
Yeah.
To pick up from a piezo.
Whatever pickup you put into
gotcha.
It'll amplify.
I gotcha. So the Swordtail system. Basically, James, why don't you tell us about it so everybody gets a chance to check it out?
So it started, let me show you something here. Go back. This is one of the first versions. That was
3D printed.
3D printed, yeah. So a guy from a band called Slim Cessna's Auto Club. He's a really cool guy, bass player. So he was on his way to Europe, and he said, I'm leaving in 2 days, and I need some help with my bass. So he brought me his bass that had all this stuff duct taped to his bridge. Volume control. He had EMGs hanging off the end of his board.
Like regular guitar EMGs?
Yes, well, bass ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I took everything off of his bridge and I just shoved it underneath the tailpiece that I carved out by hand. Mm-hmm. And then he left on his trip and it worked. So I was able to take his signal, boost it with the preamp, and then give him volume, input, and all through these little holes here that serve no purpose other than to pull the strings through.
Gotcha.
So I just filled them with electronics, and then added a passive active switch, then a dual inputs, so you can put 2 pickups in to blend, and it's got volume control, blend, bass, and treble, and then a mid-cut inside.
Gotcha.
That you can get to.
It's ingenious, the whole system, and then I think what's really cool from my sense of awareness with the product and having known you, I have actually noticed a lot of modern metal music and players using their stand-up basses with these rigs.
So Fear Factory obsolete. The bass player Christian, I think his name's Christian. He used an upright bass on some of the tracks on that album, and I actually sent him one of these.
Mm-hmm.
So this is now being used in a lot of different genres, from jazz to doom metal. There's a band from Norway that uses it. His name is Hakan. He's a really good bass player.
Gotcha.
So jazz, bluegrass, country. So it can, everything but orchestral music has no use in that.
Well, I just, it's such a great item because you've obviously diversified it between the bass, the cello, the violin, and I remember talking to you briefly about possibilities of trying to make this work in an American jazz box style tailpiece on a guitar.
Yeah.
Is that, you think that's something that we could fit or make that work in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, we have the preamp down so small. The preamp was designed by Clyde Clark from Bartolini. He's the head designer and the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So I took his XT-CT preamp that was really popular, and I had him shrink it down to about maybe a third the size of what it once was. So it's possible for it to even go smaller, and then we use like a charge pump, so we can use we can make 3 volts and turn it into 9. So we can use AAAs.
Gotcha.
You get the same punch as a 9 volt.
Gotcha.
So this takes a 9 volt, but the cello version and the violin version use 2 AAA batteries. And I have the violin that you painted for me with the Swordtail on it is in the front room.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Dan is going to grab that. But yeah, this is a very cool product. I mean, I really appreciate all the thought process that went into, because being somewhat of an entrepreneur myself, I was amazed by the level of work that you had to go through for that. But yeah, here's one I did for James, and these are a carbon fiber.
Yeah, that's correct.
And this
That's
company,
made by Andrew Glasser. So he owns Glasser, New York, and they're very well known for their bows. They've been producing violin bows since the 30s. I think the grandfather was the one who started. Yeah.
Gotcha. And now this is a beautiful instrument. The carbon fiber is definitely. I don't necessarily know if I feel the weight difference between the two. You know
There
what I
is.
mean? Is
Yeah.
it?
And the carbon will never sound as warm as the wood instruments, but when you plug it in, it's really good.
It's just like putting a humbucker on a Strat.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It cuts down on feedback, and it really sounds warm like a Les Paul. Yeah.
Bombshell.
Yeah.
Here you go, baby.
Maybe somebody should play it.
That somebody's not here right now.
Right on. So, how did you transition from an 80s rocker to get into the world of violin and cello and stand-up bass?
So, I lived in Phoenix, and I didn't want to have a desk job. I just not cut out for that. I wanted to be a professional musician, and I've always strived to be in the music industry, but I knew I needed a skill other than playing guitar. So I didn't want to work on guitars. I don't have the same passion that I do for violins. So I didn't even play the violin. And I was studying music at Arizona State, and there was a violin shop just a few streets off. So I would walk into his shop every 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Over in Tempe.
His name was Terry McShane. It was called the String Shop of Arizona.
Was it off of University?
It was off Rural.
Rural?
Yeah. And what road went this way that ran into Mesa?
Southern.
Southern? Yeah. I think it was Southern and Mill Avenue and Southern.
Okay.
Did those intersect?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Gotcha.
There was like a Three Amigos or some Mexican restaurant there. So anyway, I bugged him for about 6 months. And then one day I went in and he said, "I'm sick of you coming in here, but you start tomorrow." And that was, I started on my 22nd birthday. And I didn't want to say, "Hey, tomorrow's my birthday, can I start?"
Right.
So I just went right to work.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you probably had a hangover back then.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I would, he may see this, but yes, sometimes he'd come in and I'd be asleep on the floor. Yeah, because I was there all night. Yeah.
Right on. Well, it's a very interesting journey that you lived, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to talk about the hair, the 80s, which we both survived, and all the creative aspects of your life, I think, are just impressive. And I'm fortunate enough to call you a friend.
Right on, brother. I really appreciate being here. Thank you.
you.
Both. Yeah.
Till next round on Between Two Skulls. We'll see you then.
Jade, Lola, and you can find me at solvistaviolins.com.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.